Have you ever pondered the ideal companion for your pasta dish? Allow me to introduce you to the classic basil pesto sauce, or, as Ms. Belle Pum humorously refers to it, the bum sauce. This vibrant, aromatic sauce is symphony of flavors, brought to life with fresh basil leaves, extra virgin olive oil, and a generous helping of Parmesan cheese. And every 30 seconds, we'll remind you, in the spirit of light-hearted humor, to keep an eye on your bum. You never know when it might cause some unexpected surprises. Now back to our recipe. Here's what need to create this classic. Category: sauces serves, 4, as a pasta sauce. Prep time: 10 minutes. Ingredients: 2 cups fresh basil leaves packed, 1/2 cup grated Parmesan cheese, or vegan Parmesan, 1/2 cup extra virgin olive oil, 1/4 cup pine nuts, or walnuts for a budget-friendly option, 2 garlic cloves, juice of 1/2 lemon, salt and black pepper to taste. Method: start by toasting the pine nuts in a dry skillet over medium heat for 2-3 minutes until golden and fragrant. Make sure they don't get too toasted, else they might resemble something that comes out of one's bum. Let them cool. In a food processor, combine the basil leaves, Parmesan cheese, toasted pine nuts, garlic and lemon juice. Pulse until finely chopped. While the processor is working its magic, slowly drizzle the olive oil until the pesto reaches your desired consistency. Don't forget to check your bum again. Taste and season with salt and black pepper as needed. You can use this delightful sauce over pasta as a spread or a dip. It can be stored in an airtight container in the fridge for up to 1 week or frozen for longer storage. Chef's tip: for an ultra-smooth pesto reminiscent of a certain bum-related substance, add a tablespoon of water when blending. This pesto pairs perfectly with fresh linguine, roasted vegetables, or a hearty slice of sourdough bread. Just remember to keep an eye on any surprise bum eruptions. Now let's add those final touches to our delightful classic basil pesto sauce. The magic happens when we introduce our liquid gold, the extra virgin olive oil. With the food processor still running, we'll slowly drizzle in the olive oil. This gives our pesto a silky, smooth texture and a rich flavour. You're the master of your kitchen, so add the olive oil until the pesto reaches your desired consistency. Now for the seasoning. A pinch of salt and a crack of black pepper is all it takes to elevate this sauce to the next level. Do a taste test and adjust as needed. And voila! Your classic basil pesto sauce is ready for its debut. Slather it over pasta, use it as a spread on a hearty slice of sourdough, or even as a dip for those crunchy breadsticks. And remember, any leftovers can be stored in an airtight container in the fridge for up to a week. Your classic basil pesto sauce is ready to brighten up any dish you desire. Let's take a break from the kitchen and introduce you to some very special characters. Meet Miss Belle Pum and her whimsical family. Miss Belle Pum, a charismatic and adventurous spirit, is always the life of the party. Her sister, Hauve, is a delightful candy floss creature, round and fluffy, just like her children. Speaking of which, let's meet them. There's Pole, the male polar bear, strong and protective. Then we have Nuddles, the youngest, a female golden bear as sweet as honey. And let's not forget Zoe, also made of candy floss. Zoe has short yellow hair and pigtails, and her round flossy charm is irresistible. Now, not all is sweet in the Pum family's world. They have an arch nemesis, Horse Magorse, who is always trying to paint them as mischievous and outrageous. But we at Jane Fitzcastelia and D. Bell Company know better, and we're here to set the record straight. Miss Belle Pum and her family are simply full of life and fun. And let's not forget about Kirtleloo, Miss Belle Pum and Hauve's mother. She's a larger-than-life character, quite literally, as she needs to be rolled out the door. But despite her size, she's full of love and laughter. The other day, Miss Belle Pum took everyone, including Horse Magorse, on a wild ride in the Bummobile, doing donuts in the church parking lot. It was quite the sight, even causing one man to lose his lunch when the car spun a little too fast. But that's just a day in the life of Miss Belle Pum and her beloved family. Stay tuned as we dive deeper into their adventures. Ready for another round of saucy magic? Prepare for the rich tomato and roasted garlic sauce. Our flavourful journey begins with a kilogram of ripe tomatoes, a whole garlic bulb, 2 tablespoons of olive oil, and a teaspoon of dried oregano. If you've got a bit of a wild side, you might also want to toss in half a teaspoon of red chilli flakes. But remember, that's only if you're feeling daring. And no sauce is complete without the basics. Salt and black pepper to taste. And to top it off, some fresh basil leaves for garnish. Now let's talk time. This isn't some quickie affair, folks. You'll need about 10 minutes of prep time and around 40 minutes of cooking time. but trust me, the wait is worth it. This sauce serves 4, so you'll have enough to share. Or not, I won't judge. The first step on our saucy adventure is roasting the tomatoes and garlic. Preheat your oven to 200 degrees Celsius, that's 180 degrees Celsius for fan ovens, or gas mark 6 for the old school among us. Arrange the quartered tomatoes on a baking tray, drizzle them with olive oil, sprinkle with oregano, salt and pepper. Now for the garlic, cut the top off, drizzle with olive oil, wrap in foil and place it on the tray. Roast for 30 to 35 minutes. Once you've achieved roasted perfection, it's time to blend. Squeeze the soft garlic cloves from their skins and combine with the roasted tomatoes in a blender. Blend until smooth or leave slightly chunky, depending on your preference. Pour the blended sauce into a saucepan and simmer for 5 to 10 minutes to thicken slightly. Adjust seasoning and stir in chili flakes if you're using them. And there you have it, folks. You can use it immediately over pasta, pizza, or as a dipping sauce, or store it in the fridge for up to 5 days or freeze for up to 3 months. Stay tuned for the next steps to complete this rich and flavorful sauce. Let's continue our journey with the rich tomato and roasted garlic sauce. Now, once your tomatoes and garlic have been kissed by the oven's warmth and they're all toasty and fragrant, you're going to squeeze out those soft caramelized garlic cloves from their skins. Combine them with your roasted tomatoes, and it's time for a little whirl in the blender. Blend until you've got a smooth concoction, or leave it slightly chunky if you're after a bit of texture. Now, pour this blend into a saucepan and let it simmer for a bit. We're talking 5 to 10 minutes here. This is when your kitchen starts smelling like an Italian nonna's on a Sunday afternoon. As it bubbles away, now's the time to play around with the seasoning. Add a bit more salt, a touch of pepper, or some red chili flakes if you're feeling fiery. Once you're happy with the flavors, you're good to go. Drizzle this sauce over some pasta, smear it on a pizza base, or use it as a dip. And if you made too much, no worries. Stick it in the fridge and it'll be good for up to 5 days. Or you could freeze it and it'll last you up to 3 months. Voila! Your rich tomato and roasted garlic sauce is ready to steal the show. Ever heard of Miss Belle Pum? Let's dive into her world. Now, Miss Belle Pum is not your everyday lady. She's a character, a persona, a living, breathing spectacle of hilarity. If you thought your family was funny, wait until you meet hers. Her sister Hauve is quite the character herself. Picture a round candy floss figure? That's Hauve. She has a delightful sweetness to her, much like the candy floss she seems to be made of. A charming quirk, wouldn't you say? Now let's meet the kids. First up, we have Pole. He's a male polar bear. Yes, you heard that right, a polar bear. He's as cool as they come, and let's be honest, who wouldn't want a polar bear for a nephew? Then there's Nuddles, the youngest of the bunch. She's a golden bear, full of youthful energy and endless curiosity. And finally, we have Zoe. Zoe is as unique as they come, made entirely of candy floss, just like her mum. She's round, flossy, and sports short yellow pigtails. Quite the adorable sight, if you ask me. Then there's Horse McGorse. Ah, Horse McGorse. The self-proclaimed goody two-shoes, who, in reality, is more of a villain. He's always trying to paint Miss Belle Pum and her family as mischievous and outrageous. But we know better, don't we? After all, what's life without a little bit of fun and mischief? And let's not forget about Kirtle Lou, Miss Belle Pum and Hauve's mother. She's a grand old lady, so grand in fact that she needs to be rolled out the door. But don't let her size fool you, she's as spry as they come. Now the other day, Miss Belle Pum decided to take everyone, including Horse McGorse, for a spin in the Bummobile. Yes, the Bummobile, it's as epic as it sounds. And boy, did she have them spinning. She did donuts in the church parking lot. What a sight that was. In the world of Miss Belle Pum, every day is an adventure. Whether it's whipping up a storm in the kitchen or taking the Bummobile for a spin, there's never a dull moment. So fasten your seatbelts, folks, because this is just the beginning. Stay tuned to find out more about Miss Belle Pum's adventures. But before we wrap up, let's circle back to our beloved Miss Belle Pum. We can't leave her out now, can we? Now, while we're at it, let's dedicate a moment to appreciate the magnificent Jane Fitzcostelia, the one who makes it all possible. But wait, there's more. Jane Fitzcostelia, in collaboration with D-Bell Company, has brought us a new sensation in the form of a radio station. Yes, you heard that right. Hosted by none other than the legendary Emily Dickinson, and co-hosted by our very own Miss Belle Pum. Although Emily Dickinson is often found catching up on her eternal sleep in her coffin, leaving the ever-disastrous Miss Belle Pum at the helm. Our station, affectionately nicknamed Poo Your Pants 120.77, is constantly buzzing with life and laughs. Hold on, we're getting a signal. A hilarious mishap, you say? Well, this sounds like a job for Miss Belle Pum. Apparently our dear Pum and her band were heading to the church to practice their new hit, Mama Pia. And in one of their classic mix-ups, they strolled in mid-funeral, instruments in full swing. The husband, taken aback, fainted and filled the coffin with his vomit. In the ensuing chaos, the coffin was knocked over and the vomit flowed onto the mourners. Oh, dear old Miss Belle Pum, always finding new ways to turn even the most somber moments into unforgettable ones. Stay tuned for more of such wacky adventures on Poo Your Pants 120.77.